This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now.
A special edition of tonight's show, a Remembrance Day edition, live from the National War Memorial in downtown St. John's. We've got some great war stories and interviews for you tonight. But first, here's the Daily News with Debbie.
Thanks, Anthony. And now, here's what's making headlines this evening. Finally moving. Some flights get through, but there's still frustration in Goose Bay.
A lot of our guys think of it as a motorcycle with wings.
She's a World War I biplane and her name is Lucy. He fought in the Great War, but his record was never found.
Nobody ever believed him.
Until now.
Cold and windy, you'll need to bundle up for Remembrance Day ceremonies, especially in the West. I'll tell you what's on the way coming up.
Let's get to our top story. It was a heart-wrenching day of testimony at the Brandon Phillips murder trial. Linda McBay, Larry Wellman's spouse, took the stand to describe what happened the night Wellman was shot and killed while trying to stop an armed robbery at the Captain's Quarters Hotel. Here Now's Fred Hutton was in the courtroom, joins us now with the latest and a warning. Some of the content of Fred's report is extremely graphic.
Well, Debbie, after one day of testimony, there is no doubt that this case has had a deep and long-lasting impact on everyone involved. This morning, Linda McBay was sobbing as she described her final moments with her partner. McBay told the court that she and Wellman came to St. John's in 2015 to buy a house. On October 3rd, they went out to have a quiet night, a bite to eat and a few drinks, but it would be anything but quiet. In one sequence of the video, she can be seen actually getting between the gunman and Wellman, trying to pull her spouse away from the situation. McBay recalled a brutal scene. She told the court, "Larry was in a big pool of blood and I was running around looking for help." She said there was no conversation between me and him and we were on the floor. It was seconds. She said once at St. Clair's Hospital, they were talking and taking her statement, but she was more interested in what was happening to Larry. "I was asking the nurse if he was going to make it." McBay says she asked to see Larry before surgery, but didn't. She told the court that a nurse came and she passed me his ring. She said it was in a plastic bag. She then asked to see Larry again. This time she was permitted. She recounted, "I told him I loved him, and then they turned everything off." Wellman was then pronounced dead.
Fred, that must have been very difficult to hear today, but there was more emotional testimony this afternoon, I understand, and it came from one of the first RNC officers on the scene. What did he say? It
was very emotional, Debbie. Constable Barry Reynolds is a 10-year veteran of the force. Well, the soft-spoken officer was only a few seconds into his testimony when he broke down in tears. He described drawing his weapon when he arrived at the hotel, not knowing if the shooter was still inside. As he approached the hotel, he said a lot was going through his head. He said, "One, am I going to get shot? Am I going to have to make a decision to shoot somebody?" He thought about his wife and his two girls. He wondered, am I going home tonight? Reynolds says he then saw Wellman on the floor. He told the court, "I kneeled down. I reached down and touched his neck and I felt a pulse. I turned him over." He said his head was in my hand. He was looking at me. At that point, he realized Wellman needed first aid, but he wasn't trained. He said, "The only thing I knew how to do was comfort him. So I lay down with him in a pool of blood and I kept talking to him saying, 'You're in good hands.'" He was taking one breath after another, the officer said, and then he stopped. I said, "Guys, he just took his last breath," and my heart sank. Reynolds finished his testimony today by saying he went home, walked into his bedroom, and the floodgates opened. He says he cried in his wife's arms for hours, and the trial will continue on Tuesday. Debbie?
Thanks very much, Fred. Well, to Labrador now. Goose Bay Airport was open for a few hours today, but it now appears it could be fully operational very soon. Here Now's Katie Breen is live in Happy Valley, Goose Bay tonight. So, Katie, we understand National Defence just issued a new release moments ago. What did they say?
That's right. Just half an hour ago, we learned that one of the runways is going to be open. It's open now. It opened at 5 o'clock here in Labrador. The other one still being worked on. They're hoping to bring it all back in working order soon. Today, the airport was open for 4 hours. Here's a look at what it looked like inside. There was a backlog of passengers at the airport today. Some happy they were getting out, others frustrated they couldn't leave.
And My missus is working full time. I got to get home so I can take care of the kids. My turn to take care of the kids when I get home after work. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just waiting.
This little girl was supposed to start making her way to a dance competition in Romania on Wednesday. That plan was derailed, but she got the last seat on her flight today.
And we never dreamed that the airstrip would be closed and jeopardize this travel. It's certainly not something I don't think I could have made it up if I had even tried. But there's a will, there's a way, we'll get there.
Buses drove her and the other lucky ones to a stretch of runway a ways away. Usually planes wait just outside the door. Today there were about 24 flights, but not enough to fit everyone affected by the closure.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to stay in the airport. I don't even know if this place closes or not. So I might have to sleep on a chair probably.
Well, we learned that one runway just opened half an hour ago, so hopefully he doesn't have to sleep on the chairs tonight. The other runway soon to be opened. Everything back in operation hopefully soon. And we still don't know what it was that went wrong with the sealant that caused the airport to be closed for 2.5 days. But they're hoping to figure that out. An investigation is underway. Reporting live in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, I'm Katie Breen for Here and Now.
A deal has been struck to end the ferry standoff on Fogo Island. The MV Legionnaire is starting up and is expected to make a run this evening. Crossings have been canceled since yesterday afternoon when protesters blocked access to one boat on the Fogo side. Service was suspended for the second vessel too, and some people waited at the dock overnight. The temporary deal means commuters will get a boosted schedule for a few days, and a meeting with the transportation minister is set for Wednesday. Some are hoping to make that enhanced schedule permanent. Former Premier Danny Williams is asking the Supreme Court to help end a dispute with the City of St. John's he says is holding up Galway's development. A source tells CBC the holdup includes a $30 million new Costco building in Williams' development. Williams and his lawyer Jerome Kennedy filed a court application asking a judge to rule the city has exceeded its authority and order that development agreements are decided by City Council, not city staff. In response, the city says its lawyers will file a detailed defense to the allegations in court. Citywide taxi owner Peter Gulliver has been found guilty of uttering threats, but not guilty of robbery after a one-day trial in St. John's. Gulliver got a suspended sentence and 3 months probation for the uttering threats conviction. He had been charged in relation to an incident last July in Paradise and involved a dispute Gulliver had with a company there, Canadian Energy, over a motorcycle battery. Well, it is time to take our first look at the forecast. Carolyn Stokes is joining us. Ryan is off this evening.
He is. He's off. And yeah, so it's a long weekend for a lot of people, which is a pretty big deal. A lot of people looking to tomorrow. And it's going to be pretty unpleasant for pretty much everyone tomorrow. So let's have a look. Right now we have a lot of rain on the way, about 5 to 10 millimeters heading towards the west coast tonight. That should change to snow squalls around midnight overnight and high winds as well for pretty much everyone. And you can see all of this snow in Labrador. You've already had a lot of snow. You're getting a lot more, about 20 to 30 centimeters expected there overnight tonight. And you can see all of the showers and rain that's going to be moving across the island, the south coast, right over to the east. So it's going to be a pretty messy, windy night. And it's going to be pretty messy tomorrow as well. So that snow should start to taper off in parts of Labrador, but it's going to be super windy. So all that snow that fell overnight, that's just going to be blowing around everywhere. So you can see all of these snow squalls tomorrow for the west coast. Going to be very blustery there. Here in the east, we have a chance of showers. We're looking at 11 o'clock tomorrow. So if you're heading out to the Remembrance Day ceremony, this is what you can expect. Chance of showers in the east, 3 degrees. You can see those winds in the east, 40 to 70 there. And in the west, we have have 50 to 80. So we have those snow squalls coming in the west that I mentioned, and up along in Labrador, 60 to 90 tomorrow. With all of that snow that's fallen, Nain is going to see a kind of a messy mix of rain and snow. So cold temperatures as well on the island, mostly around the freezing mark, 3 degrees in St. John's. So yeah, if you're heading out, it's going to be pretty messy. I'll have more details about your weekend weather forecast coming up.
There's something growing behind a downtown outreach center. A story of hope and inspiration that underscores just how great the need is for some citizens of the city.
It feels really good. It gives me like a sense of confidence.
The Gathering Place Garden, Monday on Here and Now.
As Remembrance Day is upon us tomorrow, we've got a special show for you tonight. We're going to start our coverage with a story of mistaken identity. And it's a story that haunted one veteran for his entire life. But it has an interesting ending. Carolyn Stokes put this story together. Carolyn, what makes this story a little different?
Well, Anthony, this is a story about a 17-year-old boy from the Bay who put his hand up to serve his country, but his sacrifice was never recognized because of a spelling mistake. Now, his son made it his mission to right that wrong, and as you'll see, it was a very emotional journey.
We wanted to tell stories about individuals.
Donald Haas listened to war stories his whole life. Stories from his father, a veteran of the First World War.
$1 a day was what they got paid for fighting in World War I. $1 a day.
And 60 cents of that he sent home to his mother. So that says something about his character.
Instead of being honored for his sacrifice like other soldiers, Donald's father was snubbed.
Nobody ever believed him when I was a child.
No one believed him because the name Joseph Haas didn't exist in any war records.
So every day I fought on the way to school somebody who would have a comment about both my family and or me or my dad, most likely.
His father was 48 years old when Donald was born, 13 children in total, living hand to mouth in this home in St. Lawrence.
Our house had no running water, we had no bathtub, so we didn't have a lot, but we had each other.
Donald always knew something was broken inside his father.
He would spend days just staring into space. Now, the first time I earned money, I earned 35 cents. And I took the money to the store and bought my dad a cigar. And I just thought, he deserves a cigar.
He thought his father deserved better. He deserved to be recognized. So when Donald was 11 years old, he asked the Queen for help.
He had served for England. And so why don't we write to the Queen? Really didn't expect a response, but when we did get a response, it was that the closest person that we could find to the person that you purport to be is a Joseph Hall's regimental number 5574. And my dad said, well, that's my number.
Right number, wrong name.
It was a catch-22. We could never get the file to prove that it was one and the same.
But it was clear what happened. Joseph couldn't read or write. When he enlisted, he couldn't even spell his own name.
You have to picture this, okay? This is a probable shy 17-year-old boy with a Bay accent. And they wrote what they heard, and what they heard was Joseph Hall's.
Haas became Halls. His hometown of Lewins Cove became Lewis Cove. Small spelling mistakes, big consequences for a boy who just wanted to serve.
I think it was his proudest moment ever. He had now sworn to serve king and country.
He gave 1 year and 33 days to the war, a sacrifice that would go unrecognized.
At some point he gave up. There were days we went without food. We depended on welfare.
There was no pension, no support, no pride. Then, decades after Joseph's death in 1980, those private records became public. When Donald found out, he called Larry Dowie.
But when I discovered that as an 11-year-old he writes the Queen to get information on his father, I said, this is a man that is quite determined, and I will do everything in my power to help him find the father that he lost.
Larry came back and said, this, in fact, is your father. First I cried like a baby. And then, after that, it was just jubilation. Because now, I knew it was the same person. Okay? Name was spelled wrong, but I knew.
Records have been corrected. He is now one of the regiment. He'll always be part of that regiment, that family of young soldiers that left Newfoundland to fight for king and country.
Joseph Hawes of Lewins Cove is now officially a veteran.
Probably the most emotional experience of my life, because had it happened while he was alive, his life would have been different. God, I wish he had seen it.
The land has changed a lot since grandfather lived here.
In St. Lawrence, other members of the Hawes family find comfort knowing that Joseph Hawes finally has a place in history.
We're all proud of all the Hawes, and Uncle Joe's looking down right now and saying, yes, Lloyd, I am a proud man.
His headstone will be taken down and the caribou will be put on there, and also his war number.
But there's another spelling mistake that won't be fixed.
Some clergy knew the Bible and believed in the spiritual life, but they were poor spellers.
Yes, the clergy spelled Hawes with a U, and that U stuck. But that spelling mistake became part of the family's identity, an identity that's now complete.
If there is a heaven and a God, my dad is sitting there saying, I told you so.
Justified, I told you so for sure. And Donald actually recently wrote a second letter to the Queen nearly 60 years after the first. And once again, he received a written response. And Anthony, the Queen's representative thanked him for his poignant letter and said the Queen can understand the pride he feels for his father.
Wow, what a story. I mean, if your objective there, Karen, was to make people cry, I think it's mission accomplished. Beautiful story. Really amazing. We've got some more Remembrance Day coverage coming up in just a bit. Later on the show, we're going to talk about Passchendaele. As you know, it's 100 years since that horrific battle for the Canadian Army. We're going to take a look at that battle through the eyes of the Newfoundland Regiment. But also coming up, I'm going to introduce you to this man, Captain Richard Jean. He's one of the visiting dignitaries who's here. He'll be laying a wreath here. We're going to talk about the Navy. He's the Chief of Staff to the Commander of the Royal Canadian Navy. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Here and Now. Tomorrow, this place, the National War Memorial, will be a very busy place. The Remembrance Day ceremonies will start, and we've got live coverage about that. We'll give you details in a bit. One of the dignitaries who's here to lay a wreath is this gentleman, Captain Richard Jean. He's Chief of Staff to the Commander of the Royal Canadian Navy. Welcome to St. John's.
Good evening, Anthony.
Before we get into the ceremonies, you gave the entire Navy the day off today, is that right?
No, well, it wasn't just me. It was all the leadership of the Navy. We talked about it, and it's about allowing our folks to take some time off to look after themselves, their mental health, their physical health. It's good to sort of recharge your batteries, and that's the aim of that.
So it's a recognition of how much work they do?
Yeah, especially this year. It was very demanding, and as the fleet is just ramping back up, we've got ships deployed all over the world, and this is a time for them to take stock and then be with their family, and also have a chance, especially for the folks in uniform in the Navy, to go and talk to folks in the schools about what Remembrance Day means for all of us.
Now, I have had a chance in some of my career to meet various Newfoundlanders in different parts of the armed forces. Are Newfoundlanders more attracted to the Navy than the Army, do you know?
I don't have the statistics, but I've served with the Navy now for over 30 years. Lots of Newfoundlanders on the ships, always the hardest workers. They love the sea, and they're super warm. Even in this cold weather here, being in St. John's is such a great thing because I feel warm.
See, Newfoundlanders are the hardest workers in the Navy?
Some of the hardest workers,
Geez,
for sure.
I hope nobody from Quebec's watching.
Well, they're hard worker too.
You have some new vessels, relatively new vessels. Can you tell me about those?
Well, the Harry the Wolf class is coming online. They're coming off the shipyard in Halifax, and those will be operational in a couple of years.
And what kind of vessels are those?
Oh, those are the Arctic and offshore patrol vessels.
Right.
So they'll be used in Canada, up in the Arctic, and also they'll be able to deploy it all over the world.
All right. Tomorrow you'll be laying a wreath just behind us at the monument here, and I know you're a man who's been at many of these kinds of ceremonies. What kinds of thoughts, as a naval man, go through your head on a day like Remembrance Day as you're laying that wreath? What are you thinking?
Well, especially to the veterans of past wars, and then the most current, the more recent one in Afghanistan, and also the sacrifice that the men and women of the Navy have done. It's not always obvious because we've not been into armed combat with the Navy in recent years, but if you look at all the sacrifice that we've made, being away from our family and the families that have to do without the men and the women that are deploying away, so just a time to reflect on everything that we've gone through, and especially what our forefathers and mothers have suffered through the years.
Well, Captain Jean, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I will see you tomorrow during the ceremonies. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Anthony. Good night.
More coverage coming up.
2 chefs, 3 rounds, 1 great cause. On Tuesday, November 14th, CBC NL brings you Feed Demons, a live chef battle in aid of the Community Food Sharing Association. Watch from home on the CBC NL Facebook page or be in the audience at Piatto Pizzeria, Elizabeth Avenue in St. John's. Tickets are $10 plus a non-perishable food item. The action starts at 8 p.m. and it's going to get hot.
This weather update is brought to you by the Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 400 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Welcome back once again. Carolyn, you're a very busy person today. It was a lovely, lovely story that you had earlier in the program. But now it's talking about the weather, and she has a very colorful map to show us, which usually does not bode well for the weather.
How true that is. We have lots of watches and warnings for this evening, so let's get right to it. You can see that we have a winter storm warning for Labrador City, Upper Lake Melville area, the Churchill Falls area and vicinity. So 20 to 40 centimeters expected there tonight, as well as Nain. So yeah, you've had a lot of snow. More is coming. It should taper off tomorrow, but lots of wind then tomorrow. We have a special weather statement for the Upper Lake Melville area here, and a blowing snow advisory along the coast there, and a wind warning. So it's not the greatest night in much of Labrador tonight for sure. Very windy as well on the west coast of the island. We have a wreck house wind warning, gusts up to 130 tonight, and we have a wind warning as well for the rest of the northern peninsula, and a special weather statement for tomorrow. Some snow squalls expected on the west coast that I mentioned a bit earlier. If you missed this earlier, this is what we're looking like overnight tonight into tomorrow. We can see all the snow, and these are the winds. You can see on the west coast, you know, gusts up to 90. Labrador City was up to 85, so it's going to be very, very windy. This is how the day is going to start. This is really early morning hours in St. John. It's going to be cloudy with temperatures around 4 degrees, 0 in Gander, with a chance of showers there. Those snow squalls will be in effect on the west coast, 1 degree. So when you get up tomorrow, it's going to be windy, and it's going to be those snow gusts. It's going to be very blustery. And we're also looking at cold temperatures in Labrador, -12 for Labrador City, and very, very windy day, gusts up to 90 there tomorrow. So looking ahead, through the day here tomorrow, this is Saturday, 11 a.m. If you're heading out to the Remembrance Day ceremonies, we have 70, gusts of 70 in the east, and as well along the west. So we do have those snow squalls there tomorrow, and Labrador City gusts up to 100. So you can see the wind is a really big part of the story tomorrow for sure. The wind and the snow in Labrador. So things start to clear off by Saturday evening. This is a closer look at St. John's. In the morning, 4 degrees with a chance of showers, and still very windy, 40 to 70 there. It'll drop down to about 3 degrees mid-afternoon with a chance of showers there, and stick to that temperature in the evening with some cloud, but those winds will remain consistent throughout the day. So this is what we're looking at temperature-wise for the rest of the province. We have temperatures mostly in the low single digits for much of the island. Chance of flurries there in central parts, and those snow squalls there on the west coast. And in Labrador, we're looking at a breezy day Saturday afternoon, and some more snow there, some flurries, -6 in Lab City, and some snow as well along the coast. So I'll have a closer look at your Sunday forecast a little later.
As Remembrance Day approaches, we are turning our thoughts to the sacrifice made by so many. Yesterday, there was a ceremony at Memorial University St. John's campus to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice so that in freedom of learning, their cause and sacrifice might not be forgotten. Memorial University was founded in 1925 as a living memorial to those who fought in the First World War and later the Second. 310 of Memorial students enlisted in World War II. 30 were reported dead or missing. Their sacrifice honored yesterday. But the main focus of yesterday's ceremony was on Newfoundland women in the First World War. The letters of 4 women were read aloud: the mother, the sweetheart, and 2 nurses. Here are the words of the nurses writing home from the war.
My dear father, although we are only 6 miles from the trenches, we never hear any war news. The only thing we do know is when there is a big battle on this end. We can hear the guns and see the flashes, and tonight, oh, it's simply terrible. It is just the same as thunder and lightning. And to think every flash means so many deaths. It is horrible. We do get terrible cases in. I know if you saw the poor patients, you would wonder how they can possibly live.
Dear Mother, I have indeed been enjoying good health since I came to Rouen. Much better than in England, for there I had a cough all the time, and was cured instantly, I may say, after I came here. The only thing I feel is my back. Of course it is from bed making. This afternoon, I was on alone. It was Sister's turn off duty from 5 to 8. I had to bathe the eyes of 5 men who were gassed, and that takes a bit of time. I then had to give 4 inhalations of boiling water and Fire's balsam for gassed throats. I had to put a perchloride dressing of gauze and wool on a man's thigh, and had to powder a gassed, burnt back, which was simply awful. I could never make you sensible of the sights I have seen. I must close now. Good night, your daughter, Fanny.
The Chancellor of Memorial University spoke yesterday about the contribution of Newfoundland women to World War I, and Susan Dyer-Knight is joining me here at the rooms. Thanks very much for being here.
You're most welcome, Debbie.
Let's talk about, from your point of view, what was the contribution of the Newfoundland women to the Great War?
Well, it was massive and unprecedented. They kept the home lights, the home fires burning, just in itself without the men. There were 12,000 men who served in the war, so doing that without their men there was a huge extra burden, which they did do. But they also worked together, and this began really with an idea of the wife of the current governor at the time. And right at the beginning of the war, she formed with, I think, 700 women from St. John's, an organization called the Women's Patriotic Association. And they formed groups all through Newfoundland and Labrador, 219 by the end of the war, 15,000 women involved. And they used their traditional skills, like knitting and sewing and so forth, to create items that were really necessary for the war, also the making of bandages. This government house in St. John's was the center of our operation here, but they networked with all the organizations, religious and otherwise, community organizations around the province, the country as it then was, to create this organization. And it made just an extraordinary contribution. They produced all this material, I think they call it, so that would be socks and shirts and things of clothing that were needed, uniforms, and that kind of thing. But they, when you think of what they did in relation to how other people did things, we were so isolated. So it was an extraordinary effort that they made. It was like the whole place went to war, and this was their way of contributing to it. They also looked after the war wounded who came home. They visited with people who'd lost their own or would just had them overseas. So there was a huge empathic effort involved as well. And one of the things that was really important after the war was that there was a huge child welfare situation, because we went into a depression and there were so many orphans or orphaned families. And so a lot of these organizations, including building the Red Cross here, served to really lessen the difficulties and that came as a result of the war.
So Susan, you reference the fact that these women brought so many of the communities of the province, the country at the time, together. Mm-hmm. So they influenced society.
Very much. They influenced society, and they influenced their own role and capacity in society, because post-war, I mean, that's where the suffrage movement came out of.
And these women didn't want to go back to their traditional roles, did they?
I don't think any women post-war wanted to do that, but they found ways to do it and to do it constructively. And in 1925, well, we're at Memorial University, it's our university, and that came out of the war. And so when Memorial's doors opened, lo and behold, that was the year the women got the vote. So it's all connected, and it all had to do with terrific resolve, resilience, determination, generosity, empathy, over and above. But then they knew who they all were. I mean, they had this sense of ours.
That's a wonderful place to end Susan Dyer Knight. Thank you. Well, a working replica of a World War I biplane has pitched in St. John's. The aircraft is called Lucy and is part of an exhibit at the Rooms as it prepares for Remembrance Day tomorrow. Here now's Mark Quinn stopped by to see Lucy and speak with some of the pilots who flew her.
You can see it in the eyes of boys like Theo Noseworthy as they use the flight simulator at the Rooms. Flying these planes was an adventure, a sort of magic that took courage and skill.
A lot of our guys think of it as a motorcycle with wings.
Larry Ricker is an Air Canada pilot who's flown Lucy across the country. He says learning how to fly a relatively tiny aircraft like this was difficult.
It's designed as a fighter. This was the first fighter in World War I. And it's neutrally stable, which is engineering code words for unstable.
Ricker is one of 10 former Canadian Air Force pilots who flew these Newport 11 replicas over France earlier this year. They soared over the Beaumont-Hamel battlefield where hundreds of Newfoundlanders died, and they flew over the monument at Vimy Ridge to mark the 100th anniversary of the battle there.
I had the privilege of doing the first flight out of the airfield and over Vimy Ridge, and I started to cry when I was over the ridge and looked down at that magnificent monument. It's spectacular.
Newfoundland has a strong connection to biplanes like these. During the war, money was raised, about $2 million in today's dollars, to buy 5 of them. Dozens of Newfoundlanders, like Ronald Eyre of St. John's, flew them during the First World War.
Who happened to be a student over in England when the war broke out. He was fascinated by flight and aviation, and so he signed up almost right away.
One of the lucky ones, Eyre survived and returned to Newfoundland. If you want to learn more about what pilots like him experienced, Lucy will be at the Rooms all weekend. The exhibit promises to be educational and moving for everyone, but especially beguiling for children, no matter how many decades they've been one. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
100 years ago marked the end of the Battle of Passchendaele, a horrific battle for the Canadian Army. After the break, we're going to take a look at it through the eyes of the Newfoundland Regiment with expert Frank Gogus. Welcome back to our special Remembrance Day version of Here and Now. As you've probably noticed with much of the national coverage, marking today is a century since the Battle of Passchendaele came to an official end. It was a horrific battle, costing a lot of casualties. Canada, I think, was around in the neighborhood of 16,000 casualties, 4,000 dead, in a bigger campaign that actually cost the British 400,000 people as casualties. We thought, given all the Canadian attention, it'd be interesting to look at it from a Newfoundland point of view. Frank Gogos, of course, expert on the Newfoundland Regiment, and he joins me now. Thanks for being here, first of all. A little bit brisk out here. Frank, what's important to keep in mind from the regiment's point of view, this horrific battle towards the end of the war?
I think with the attention that Beaumont Hamel has received over the years as the importance of the loss during that time, a lot of what happened after Beaumont Hamel is forgotten. And during the Battle of Passchendaele, or the Third Battle of Ypres, the Royal Newfoundland Regiment actually fought in two smaller battles, engagements. One, the Battle of Langemarck on August the 16th night, and the Battle of Polkapelle on October the 9th.
And what were the noticeable features of these battles?
Well, the conditions of the ground were, as you said, horrific. You know, you think of all those photographs and film that you see of the Flanders fields during that time. It was every bit of that and more. Very difficult terrain to cross over and get to, just to line up to attack.
Right.
But in the case of the Newfoundlanders, they did quite well in both battles, actually. Not only reaching their objectives, but leading the way in one of the battles.
It's interesting, Frank, that in these battles, particularly at the end of the First World War, the use of imperial troops. I mean, the British would talk about how good the imperial troops, Newfoundlanders, Canadians, New Zealanders were as the spearhead troops right at the beginning. Was the regiment in that kind of role in these battles?
Absolutely. I think they were well conditioned, and especially the conditions of the ground. I mean, you think about Newfoundland and hunting, and a lot of the same types of terrain, you know, without blowing shell holes and that sort of thing.
Right.
But the Newfoundlanders were strong, and they were able to move quicker than their counterparts in the British forces, which they fought alongside. So they tended to be able to take the lead in certain.
Just as a last question, what are your thoughts as Remembrance Day approaches tomorrow?
I just hope that everybody takes the time out and go to your local war memorial and pay respects for those who have fallen in service.
Frank Gogos, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I'll have more details about our own Remembrance Day coverage here coming up.
A few months in the making, a new mural was unveiled today in downtown St. John's. Artist Julie Lewis painted the mural at McBride's Hill between Water Street and Duckworth Street to commemorate the Great Fire of 1892. It's been 125 years since the historic fire that destroyed most of the city and left 11,000 people homeless. We'll be right back. It's always fun to introduce our athlete of the day. Now, yesterday we introduced you to Sophia Hatch, and today, here's her sister. Samantha Hatch is 5 years old and lives in Wabush.
Samantha takes part in novice A/B hockey, soccer, and swimming. Awesome job, Samantha. You are today's young athlete of the day. Nice.
And I wonder, does she like snow sports in Wabush? I think they're going to get some.
Oh yeah, for all those folks up there who love the skidoos and all of that, you know, stick your snowsuit on. It's going to be pretty good up there for sure. Now, in terms of the weekend, we're definitely looking at a better day on Sunday.
Okay.
So let's just have a look to see what's coming tomorrow, because I know tomorrow is a very important day for a lot of people. In case you missed this earlier, this is our Saturday forecast for about 11 a.m. when many people will be out at the Remembrance Day ceremonies. In the east, we have a chance of showers and temperatures around 3 degrees there. In central, not too bad, about 1 degree around the freezing mark, mix of sun and cloud there. Corner Brook, some snow squalls there. It's not going to be very pleasant on the west coast tomorrow. Gusts up to 80. It's going to be breezy for the whole island, but particularly on the west coast with all of that snow coming in. As well in Labrador, we have winds 60 to 90 tomorrow with the snowfall and all the snow that's on the ground. So you can just imagine if you're out at those ceremonies, it's not going to be very comfortable at all. So Sunday, as I mentioned, is definitely the better day, but we can see how things start to clear off on Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning. Quite clear, some cloud cover there in Labrador, so there is a chance of flurries for some areas in Labrador. Temperatures around -2, mix of sun and cloud in Labrador City, -5 there for Sunday. Chance of a few flurries in Corner Brook on Sunday, but the island is looking pretty nice, actually. A mix of sun and cloud for most areas. Temperatures hovering around 3 or 4 degrees. So Sunday is definitely the better day if you want to head out and do anything on the weekend. So as we look ahead to Monday, things still remain pretty calm. You can see lots of cloud cover, a chance of flurries there on the west. So it's going to be very cloudy with temperatures slightly warmer in the east, about 5-6 degrees on the Burin Peninsula there, 4 degrees in Port aux Basques. So some more snowfall coming on Monday. Temperatures pretty chilly, -4 in Lab City. So yeah, this is how we're looking for the 7-day forecast. Monday, not too bad here, as we just mentioned. And Tuesday, we're going to stay nice and dry. Not much precipitation happening there, but then we're going to get into some rain and some, mix of rain and flurries later on in the week. And for Labrador, a nice clear patch for you here. Temperatures pretty chilly though, and as we head towards the weekend, a chance of more flurries moving in. Debbie?
Up in just a bit, I'm going to introduce you to my co-host for our special coverage of Remembrance Day tomorrow, Jamie McWhirter. He's an Afghanistan war vet.
Welcome back, and you know the drill on Fridays. We like to find out who's celebrating this week. Have a look. Happy 97th birthday to Maud Maybe. Cyril and Monica Blackmore of Grand Falls, Windsor celebrated their 58th anniversary this week. Happy 60th anniversary to Ross and Geraldine Sampson. Best wishes to Gordon and Nancy Randall, currently in Topsail, on their 58th anniversary. Happy 59th wedding anniversary to Reg and Nettie Kendall of Morrisville, Bay d'Espoir. Happy 92nd birthday to Gordon Cluett of Grand Bank. Happy 64th anniversary to Harris and Phoebe Mercer of Upper Island Cove. Happy 90th birthday coming up on Monday to Lewis White from Brown's Arm, now in Lewisport. Anniversary greetings to Wilfred and Susie Carter of Ship Island, Greens Pond, Bonavista Bay. They'll be celebrating their 65th anniversary this weekend. Happy 50th wedding anniversary today to Max and Shirley Windsor of Goose Bay. Celebrating her 90th birthday, Nina Herridge, originally from Fortune, currently in Grand Bank. Happy 50th wedding anniversary today to Cyril and Wavy Murphy of Charlottetown. Also celebrating today, happy 95th birthday to Blanche Garland, formerly of Galtus, currently in Paradise. Happy 57th wedding anniversary to Herbert and Frances Matcham of Harbour Breton. It's 53 years of marriage for Lloyd and Mary Ellen Glover of Wareham, Bonavista Bay. Happy 57th anniversary today to Harvey and Shirley Osmond of Codroy Valley, formerly of Port-aux-Basque, celebrating today. Birthday greetings to Rita Lynette Blunden of Kelligrews, who's 99 years old. She's currently in St. John's and enjoys playing her violin. Happy 51st anniversary to Gerard and Daphne Manning, celebrating this Sunday. Happy 90th birthday to Mariah Jacobs. Best wishes to Eric Jewer, who will celebrate his 90th birthday this Sunday. Eric is in Carbonear. Gilbert and Rita Bursey of Cox's Cove will be married 54 years tomorrow. Congratulations. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Manuel and Marie Leto of Lancerclair. Another golden couple, Corner Brook residents Foster and Constance Lambswood, will be celebrating their 50th tomorrow. Happy 61st anniversary yesterday to Bill and Mabel Bartlett of Carpoon. Happy birthday to Nora Brown, who celebrated her 92nd this week. Congratulations to Gerald and Louise Smith of Gander, who celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary yesterday. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Lloyd and Irene Ivany of Arnold's Cove. Tomorrow, Jim and Doreen Smith of Bishop's Falls will be celebrating their golden anniversary. Happy anniversary to Joan and Roy Gilbert, formerly of North Harbour and Labrador City, now in Clarenville, who will celebrate their 59th anniversary tomorrow. And happy 55th wedding anniversary this Sunday to Brenda and Stuart Ralph of Point Leamington. Well, Anthony, I'd say a lot of those people celebrating this weekend will also be remembering loved ones who served in the military.
Yeah, absolutely, Debbie. I'm sure a lot of people, judging from years past, they'll be here at the National War Memorial, as will Jamie McWhirter. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, I was happy to be here.
Jamie is a co-host tomorrow for our special coverage on CBC Radio 1 and on Facebook Live. Jamie, what are your thoughts on this Remembrance Day Eve?
Oh, it's hard not to think about Passchendaele right now. I mean, look at the date. It's November. It's November 10th. It's hard not to think about Passchendaele and all the people we lost in that great battle, you know.
One of the things, of course, you're famous for is your authority as PTSD. 100 years ago in the First World War, they called it shell shock. What do you think about when you think of all those soldiers over the various battles over the past who we never really diagnosed as any kind of mental problems?
Oh, they had to have something. I don't want to say for sure that they had something because I don't know these people, but they had to be touched by something. I mean, we now know about what happened over there, and I mean, they went through some horrible things, so I'm sure they were touched by something. And they didn't come home to social workers and case workers and things like that. They didn't come home to medication.
Listen, looking forward to working with you tomorrow. Yes. So be here. We'll see you then.
Right on. Sounds good.
10:35 Island time. That's what 10:55 Island time rather. That's when our coverage here starts on CBC Radio 1 and, as I mentioned, Facebook Live. Hope you can tune in if you can't make it down here in person. Debbie.
Thanks so much, Anthony, and wish you a good program tomorrow. And for us, that's our here and now for this evening. And I'm also hoping you can make your way to Remembrance Day ceremonies wherever you are. We'll leave you with the beautiful shot of the War Memorial, downtown St. John's. Have a good weekend, everyone.